You guys, Harry Styles is facing some serious backlash right now over his Together tour. And honestly, this might be one of the messiest ticket situations we've seen in a while. Fans are furious about pricing. Ticketmaster is doing what Ticketmaster does best, which is making everyone angry. And there are even rumors that this whole thing could lead to actual legal action. We're going to break down exactly what happened with these ticket sales, why New York fans are especially upset, and what this means for the future of concert ticketing. So Harry announced his Together tour last week, and right away, fans had mixed feelings. He's only hitting 7 cities: Amsterdam, London, São Paulo, Mexico City, New York, Melbourne, and Sydney. For an artist of his size, that's a pretty limited run, which meant fans from everywhere else were already scrambling to figure out travel plans. But the real chaos started when he announced 30 nights at Madison Square Garden in New York. 30 shows. That's a massive residency, and it broke pre-sale records before tickets even went on sale. According to reports, over 11.5 million people registered for the New York pre-sale alone. To put that in perspective, Madison Square Garden holds about 20,000 people per show. So you've got 11.5 million people trying to get 600,000 total tickets. The math was never going to work. When pre-sales went live, fans immediately started posting screenshots of the prices, and people could not believe what they were seeing. We're talking standard seats, not VIP, not meet and greet, just regular seats in the upper bowl going for hundreds of dollars. Lower bowl seats were climbing into 4 figures after fees. And this wasn't just dynamic pricing, where the cost goes up as more people buy. This was something called official platinum pricing, which is where Ticketmaster marks certain seats way higher than face value right from the start because they're considered high demand. So fans logged in expecting maybe $200 for a decent seat, and they're seeing $800, $1,000, even $1,200 for a single ticket that doesn't come with any perks. Let me break down what the actual VIP packages were supposed to cost, because that's part of what makes this so frustrating. Harry's team created 3 tiers. There's the Together package, which is the most expensive. That gets you the earliest entry, priority floor access, an exclusive pre-show VIP lounge, special merch, a laminate, and a photo backdrop moment. No meet and greet with Harry, just those perks. In London, that package was going for around $1,000. In Australia, it was between $850 and $900. In Amsterdam, about $980. The KISS package is the middle tier. You get early venue access, priority general admission access, exclusive merch, a laminate, and a photo op, but no lounge experience. That was running between $625 and $635 depending on the city. And then there's the disco package, which is the most basic VIP option. Early entry, a laminate, merch, and VIP support, but fewer overall perks. That was around $410 to $460. Now here's where it gets ridiculous. In New York, fans were finding regular seats, no package, no VIP perks, just a seat in section 100 or 200, priced at $800 to $1,100. That's the same price or more than a VIP package in other cities. And these weren't special seats, they were marked as official platinum, which again just means Ticketmaster decided they could charge more because of demand. Fans started calling this out immediately on social media. One person wrote, "The entirety of the lower bowl is available because they're all $884 platinum tickets. This is ridiculous." Another said, "Harry, this is sick. You have the ability to turn off official platinum. Also, $1,100 being face value is disgusting." People were tagging Harry's official accounts, tagging Ticketmaster, just trying to get someone to acknowledge how insane this was. And it's not like fans were expecting cheap tickets. Harry Styles is one of the biggest pop stars in the world. People understand that concert tickets cost money, but when you're charging $800 for nosebleed seats in New York, while upper bowl tickets in London are going for $130, it feels targeted. It feels like Ticketmaster and whoever else is involved in pricing looked at New York and said, well, people here will pay whatever, so let's just see how high we can go. And technically, they're not wrong, because a lot of those tickets did sell, but the backlash has been brutal. There was also this whole side drama where people thought Zayn Malik was throwing shade at Harry. Zayn's doing a residency in Vegas right now, and during one of his shows, he thanked fans for coming and said something like, "Hopefully the ticket prices weren't too high." People immediately took that as a dig at Harry because of all the tour pricing drama happening at the same time. But then other fans pointed out that Zayn himself had really expensive tickets for his Vegas residency at first, and his team had to lower the prices because they weren't selling. So it's unclear if he was actually throwing shade or just making a general comment. Either way, it added fuel to the fire. The bigger issue here is that this has kicked off a much larger conversation about concert accessibility. Going to see a major artist used to be something most people could afford if they saved up a little. Now, it's starting to feel like only wealthy fans can get decent seats, and everyone else is either stuck in the nosebleeds paying way too much or watching from home. And fans keep pointing out that it doesn't have to be this way. There are artists who have actively fought against these pricing systems. Billie Eilish is probably the most vocal example. She's been really open about hating dynamic pricing and platinum pricing. For her tours, she's worked with venues to cap ticket prices, opt out of dynamic pricing entirely, and limit resale to face value so scalpers can't flip tickets for thousands of dollars. She also supports fan-to-fan verified resale, which means if you can't go to a show, you can resell your ticket, but only for what you originally paid. No profit. It's a system that actually protects fans instead of squeezing every possible dollar out of them. Olivia Dean is another artist who called out Ticketmaster directly. She posted on her Instagram story saying, "You are providing a disgusting service. The prices at which you are allowing tickets to be resold is vile and completely against our wishes. Live music should be affordable and accessible, and we need to find a new way of making that possible. Be better." Ticketmaster actually responded to her and said they were capping all future resale prices for her tour and refunding fans who had already paid markups to resellers. They didn't have to do that, but because Olivia made noise and put pressure on them publicly, they acted. So when fans are begging Harry and his team to say something, they're not just complaining for no reason. They're pointing out that other artists have intervened and made a difference. And the silence from Harry's camp has been deafening. No statement, no acknowledgement of the backlash, nothing. And that's part of what's making people so frustrated. It feels like his team either doesn't care or they think this will blow over. And maybe it will, but the damage to his relationship with fans is real. One fan wrote, "Sorry, but Harry can't claim to love his fans and say we've changed his life, yada yada, then proceed to make VIP packages $900 plus for a tote bag and early entry, in addition to turning on platinum pricing. I've never seen levels of greed like this before. There's no justifying it." And that sentiment has been echoed over and over. People feel betrayed, especially longtime fans who've supported him since his One Direction days. They feel like he's prioritizing profit over the people who got him where he is. There's also frustration that this seems to be happening more in the US than in other countries. In the UK and Europe, there are actually regulations around ticket pricing and resale that prevent some of these practices. But in the US, Ticketmaster basically has free reign, unless an artist pushes back. And without that pushback, fans are stuck either paying outrageous prices or missing out on seeing artists they love. Some people have said, well, if you can't afford it, just don't go. And sure, that's technically an option, but it misses the point. Concert tickets didn't used to be a luxury item. They were something regular people could budget for and enjoy. The fact that it's shifting into something only accessible to the wealthy is a problem, and it's worth calling out. At this point, it's unclear if Harry or his team will address any of this. The tour is still months away, so there's time for them to make changes. Lower prices, turn off platinum pricing, something. But the longer they stay silent, the more it looks like they're okay with how things went down. And that's going to stick with fans. What do you guys think? If you tried to get tickets and saw those prices, how did you feel? Do you think Harry should say something? Or is this just how the industry works now? Let me know in the comments. And if you want updates on this story or other music industry drama, make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you in the next one.